Anything you could do with a for loop, you can do with a while loop and vice versa. Let's see it in action. So when iterating through collections, we saw that we could iterate through with a for loop, and it is very straightforward and very easy. It reads like English, and that's great. But what about if you have some condition like some counter equals to 5, and while some condition here, whatever this is, some condition evaluates to true, do the following. Do something like, well, let's put the condition in here so that we can get rid of this. While counter, it's less than 10, let's just say. Go ahead and let's remove the parentheses. Go ahead and say print counter, and let's increment it by 1. And it's Python, it looks like this, plus 1. What does that mean? By the way, this is the same as saying counter equals counter plus 1. It's just a little quick shortcut because we are developers and we are told we don't like extra typing. I guess we like this version. So that's what this means. Don't get fooled by this. Counter equals counter plus 1. And so if we run this, what happens? We get 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And again, it's not inclusive of 10 because we said less than. But if we wanted to do that, we can do something like this, and we could include the 10. So what does that mean? What does what mean? Well, what does this whole while mean? The while loop is going to iterate through the body of the while loop while this condition evaluates to true. And you got to be careful here because counter, if it's not incrementing by 1, so if it'll never reach 10, in other words, if it never gets to execute this as false, this would run forever, and that is known as an infinite loop. So we got to be very, very careful. So what does that mean? That means that if you don't do this and you comment this out, this will run forever. And that's not what we want, right? I just stopped it manually. That's not what we want. We do want this to be like this, right? So that it does stop after some executing of this condition returns false. So when is it good to have a while loop, and when is it good to have a for loop? Well, the while loop is a little bit more manual in terms of controlling this condition and controlling and incrementing this counter. So that is more that you have to manage. And if you know me and you know what I keep saying over and over again, is that we're worse off in software engineering, software development, when we have more things to manage. So again, the better off we'll be if we get to manage less things. And in this case, the for loop allows us to not keep this counter around. And in fact, if you remember, enumerate brings this exactly solution to us. It allows us to remove the initializing of the counter, for example, or the index in that particular case, and the incrementing of that variable. So bear that in mind. That's what enumerate does with the index. This is what the for loop will do. We still have to initialize. The for loop doesn't initialize. We do some collection to start off with, and we iterate through that. But just to kind of give you some differences, just because you know the for loop, it doesn't mean that's the only thing you could do, right? We know that we can do the while loop. We could do the for loop in range. We could do the for loop with a collection. We could do, there's many different ways to do something. It's just the thing to consider is what is the best solution for me based on my requirements. What's more readable? What's more maintainable? What's cleaner? What's more concise? These are things that we have to account for, and I hope this video helps with that.